According to insider intelligence, 34 million US adults currently own cryptocurrency. However, according to Inc.com, 68% of small businesses won't accept any form of crypto as payment for their goods or services. Introducing Switch, an innovative solution to bridge this gap in the world of Web3. Switch simplifies blockchain finance by allowing you to load your Switch debit card with converted cryptocurrencies, then spend those dollars wherever debit cards are accepted. Finally, a simple yet elegant solution to the problem of storing, sending, switching, and spending digital assets all in the palm of your hand. Perhaps the most exciting feature of Switch is the rewards program, where you can earn digital rewards for participating in the Switch blockchain when you purchase and run the Switch node software on your computer. Here at Switch, we believe the greatest blockchain advancements still lie ahead as cryptocurrency continues to grow toward mainstream adoption. So why would anyone purchase a Switch software node and add their computer to the Switch blockchain? The answer is incentive. Each time a community member completes an action that furthers the mission of the Switch blockchain, they earn a digital reward. These Switch rewards can then be held inside your Switch wallet, spent directly inside the Switch marketplace, or converted into dollars using your Switch app. You can then use your Switch card to spend those dollars wherever debit cards are accepted. Switch rewards are distributed to the community members each day. The number of rewards you earn is determined by how many action items you completed the previous day, such as running your software node on your computer, making everyday purchases using your Switch debit card, buying or selling cryptocurrencies on the Switch platform, completing a direct deposit into your Switch account, or inviting others who join the Switch community. Community members who want to maximize their rewards can apply for the Switch Black Card, which provides a long list of added benefits, including the potential to receive double the amount of digital rewards. The world is changing fast, and Switch is perfectly positioned to become tomorrow's banking today. We invite you to join our growing community. Begin using a Switch card to earn Switch rewards. Begin running a node to earn even more Switch rewards from the blockchain, the fastest growing technology sector in history. Benefit from becoming an early pioneer in the world of Web3. Don't miss out. Click the link below to join the Switch community and begin earning your digital rewards today.
Kathy, I did do an introduction to the group with your bio, so we could speed this up, but there's some new people here that don't know about Connect, and the quickest way that I can explain Connect to people is like this. Connect is the hub, it's the heart that reaches out to the world and comes back in. So when we have a look at all the different brand partners, we have a look at Switch, which is also part of the hub and helps the brand partners and everyone else to do and help with their transaction with one of the best onboarding and offboarding platforms that we can actually be a part of. And it is the best that I've seen, because I have seen some others. And Connect kind of operates in this way that we talk about win. And I just love that. I love win because we're all winning. And then when we purchase a win node in the Connect community, what we're doing is actually like purchasing a position that allows all the rewards to be generated. And a lot of people here may not understand rewards just yet, but it is a learning curve, and you need to kind of listen and carve out some time to really truly understand what this ecosystem is about. But decentralized to me means like, okay, we are the people. It is up to us. We are the empowerment. We are the ones that drive this together as a whole community, and we all get rewarded. And this is how it's supposed to be. And one of the things I love about you, Kathy, Kathy, is one of these things that you said ages and ages ago, is that somebody even in Africa or India and or where it matter where they are, they can't even have a bank account to even transact. And if they have a Switch reward card, they have their phone, because we know that most people have cell phones around the world. They have the ability to transact because they can't even get a bank account because they don't even have identification. And I know this is one of your passions. And then when I heard that, I just said, wow, that is just so amazing that every single human being has the possibility to transact, be part of this ecosystem, and we get to serve real life utility, what we're doing anyway, across the planet. I mean, those projects were the first things that inspired me, projects like Element, projects like Grow, nourish the planet, nourish the whole world, projects like decentralized rideshare, projects like R-Link, like we'll be on an R-Link rather than a Zoom because it's in beta test at the moment. Projects, just really do warm the heart, and to be part of that and to put your energy into that, to like we put ourselves into that. This is lifelong. I can see myself being around for 40, 50 years with some awesome friendships and relationships that we get to really expand and help the world. I think billion connectors will come across over to Connect a lot faster than I can even think of.
You're signed up, so just get on that group chat.
So Kathy, over to you. And feel free to, if you want to share screen, do any of those things. And it's your platform right now. Thank you so much. We love you so much, Kathy. Thank you.
Well, thanks. Thank you. Thank you for having me today. I know you all have very busy lives, and I was so excited. I'm in Utah today, and I've had a home here since 1997. And I'm getting ready to remodel and do some work on it. So I was downstairs, kind of grimy. I'm at 3 o'clock. I'm like, I gotta get ready for this call. I gotta hop in the shower. I gotta smell good. I'm like, oh, it's on video, but I wanted to smell good, look good, be good for this call. I'm so delighted that you would have me speak with you today. And I learned more from each of you probably than you'll ever know. That's one of the real beauties of the way this ecosystem is set up. I think you've already kind of given them my bio, but I'll really quickly, because if we spend much time on my history, it takes forever. I have a long history, but I started in retail. And I started at a company called Sears Roebuck and Company, which is no longer on the globe. But at that time I started, 1 in every 4 Americans worked at Sears, whether they worked there full-time or part-time, and 80% of the American population walked through a Sears store. That's because they had already created things like Allstate, which was an insurance company to insure their products. They also had a relationship with Budget Rent-A-Car. They had a photographer there. You might just go in to get some popcorn, or you might go in and sit down in the cafeteria. But the way they had framed their retail strategy was they would always just say, we just want our 80% of America walking through the retail store. Of course, they didn't keep up. And over time, Amazon and other things crept in, and now that company is closed. But one of the things they did very well was credit cards. And no one knew in the probably early 80s, late 70s, they were probably the 3rd largest lender after the car manufacturers in the nation. It was state by state by state, and they knew how to score out the credit models. They knew how to print your cards out, and the credit team was making more money than the retail team. And nobody really knew that. Catalog was failing. And so Phil Purcell was the CEO. He had come from McKinsey. He wasn't the CEO of Sears, but he was the guy who had come from McKinsey. And then they seated him more, Dean Witter at that time. And he said, well, you have so much cash, you might as well do these other projects. What is it that we really do well? And this was a think tank in Chicago that we should do again. And I always call that, what can you do to burn that match twice? You burn a match and it's gone. Well, they ignited the match twice when they started the Discover card. And when they started Discover Card, they needed someone in a particular position, and there's always a company psychologist, and they run your executive battery scores. And somehow, I say it's Providence. I wasn't the best looking. I wasn't the tallest. I wasn't a fair-haired boy. I was trying to be a fair-haired boy, but when you're 5'3.5", it's pretty hard to be a fair-haired boy. And they had that certain kind of look, feel that they wanted their executives to have. But my name came up number one. I took off for Chicago and started at the headquarters for Discover, and then moved out to their operations centers. And I really set my sights. And at first, because I was in a support job at first, and they were very kind people to work with, and they would always ask you what your aspirations were. And once I got there and I ran the first payroll, I said, I want to be the president. And at first, some of them would laugh, and I wasn't joking. And so after a couple of years, people quit laughing. I moved into the first directorship for as a woman in their operations, and then on to the recovery site, and then on to Salt Lake. Here, I opened their largest owned center operations, 365 days a year, 24 hours a day, never a day off. Had a lot of Christmas and Thanksgiving dinners with the folks here. They did such a fabulous job. The employees here got me promoted to be president of the bank. So all that time where people were laughing and thinking, oh yeah, that girl thinks she's going to be the president. Anything can come true. Anything can come true, except for my diet numbers, I think. But we had a wonderful run and wonderful time doing that. And then I retired. I tell people that I adopted a baby when I was 48 years old. I was single. I don't know if any of you ever seen that movie Baby Boom, but it was kind of like that. It wasn't planned. And I tell people I could run a $54 billion portfolio, but I couldn't manage a 2-year-old. So I quit my job and have had about 20 years off since that time frame. When Wright came to me, he and I had done some other projects together. And just like Jen said, he came to me and he's explaining this technology to me. And I had called him and he said, oh, hey, Kathy, how you doing? I hadn't talked to him a few years. He says, I am in Davos, Switzerland, and I just gave a talk on this technology. And I said, oh, and I'm thinking in the back of my head, then if you're in Davos with the financial people, why are you taking my call? But that's the kind of guy he is. And he started explaining to me this whole node network and how it worked, and how he had been in the Bitcoin mining and how that worked. And I said, okay, that's really nice. And he said, but I need a card at the end of that stream of the exchange. He wasn't charging anything for his exchange. And so my customers stay inside. And I said, oh, that's really nice. I said, but you know what? I'm retired, get a young guy. And then he would call the next week or the next week or the next week. But as he explained to all of you and everyone that will listen, he does give things away. And so I think this was about 2017. And I think about the fourth time I turned him down, he called and said, well, here, I'd like to give you a Bitcoin. He'd already showed me how to set up my wallet, how to connect it to the bank account. He'd already showed me all of that. And I'm still not getting all of it. And I said, okay, because I'm like, so I get a Bitcoin. What's a Bitcoin? And so by the time I figured it out, I won't tell you the amount of money it was, but it was a ton of money. And I said, well, I could probably figure out your project, whatever it is, because I'm truly a mercenary. But as it took me about a year to do the research, to do the comparatives to other products, to look at things like how they treated their customers, especially customer service. After spending all that time I spent 24 hours a day in customer service, I was interested in producing something that everybody could use, that anyone could understand, and that was responsive to the end client. And so then I think it was the second year in, there's a little tiny think tank. We were trying to come up with a name, and we had so many names out there, and somebody said Switch. I said, that's it. That's the one we'll use. So that's how we came up with Switch Reward Card. And it's become much more than a card at the end of an exchange since then. It's become something that business owners would like to use. It's become a platform for trading. It's become an area if you need white glove service and you have a whale client that wants to trade some digital rewards or things of that sort, we'll service them with white glove. Whole, what I call a cog in the whole ecosystem. So when you look at, like Ranjeet said, at things like Grow, at Galvin, and you look at Revo, we're signing up Revo right now for a business account. They want to accept crypto for rides. They want to accept credit cards with a different provider. This Nourish marketplace that you see was created by one of the team at Switch. So we created the whole Nourish Mark, and then the opportunity for everybody to use the transactional power powered by Switch. So you'll see a button oftentimes on the other ecosystems that will say powered by Switch. So no matter which one of the other brands that is in the house, we are trying to work with all of them to make everything they do simpler, have customer service, have the opportunity to accept crypto. And you'll see, I think he's pointing there to the merchant crypto widget. That we believe, and I think if you look at the top of there, it says something like 520 million people on the planet have crypto. If you have a business, wouldn't you like to accept it? Now, go back to my old past, and in 1984, there was Visa, MasterCard, Diners, American Express, were the credit card industry, right? Well, when they came up with that idea to burn the match twice, guess how many people had a Discover card? 0. Guess how many merchants accepted Discover card? A big fat 0. So people like yourselves, salespeople went out and they would go to the merchants and say, hey, wouldn't you like to accept a new credit card? What's the difference between that payment and the kinds of opportunities that are out there today to broaden people's opportunity to take other instruments in payments, to take things like Bitcoin, to take things like the digital reward of Switch or Eyes or all of the other altcoins that are out there? People are going to want that opportunity. And Ranjeet, you hit the nail on the head. Into the country after you get out of Nairobi, the countryside is very poor. And on average, there's people sitting and maybe banging on the rocks to make gravel for the rich people's driveways, etc. And on average, they made $30 a day. What if through having the advantage of having a transactional marketplace, of having a different type of reward or token that could be traded or turned into fiat, and they made an extra $10, that would be absolutely life-changing. You couldn't walk through a marketplace without people tugging on you once they know you're not from their country. They're hoping that you're going to come into their little mall place, and they had wonderful things to sell. You can't carry them all back. But what if somebody could make $20 more? And that's what got me. I'm like, this is going to circle the globe. It's going to be life-changing. And I don't think anyone can stop it. It's borderless. How many of you have a regular job and can't get to the bank between the banking hours? Now, I always laughed when they said banking hours because every once in a while I'd get locked in or something. Somebody would forget that I was there. And at midnight when I wanted to go home, I'd have to call the police. But, you know, there's banker's hours. There's no banker's hours with crypto. There's no borders. There's no government in there. Government wants to be in there. I admit that, but this is for the broad community. And so your participation and your attention to what's going on and understanding about what's going on is a phenomenal piece. If Discover Card had not had people like you going out to merchants say, would you accept a new credit card? And the merchant would virtually say, no, we don't need a new credit card. We have Visa, we have MasterCard, we have blah, blah. And then they would say, it's associated with with Sears, excuse me, which remember 80% of the population walk through a Sears store and they would say, oh, okay, I'll accept their Discover Card all of a sudden. So, but it was starting from one account and moving on from there for that population to get to a $54 billion portfolio by the time I left. So I don't believe there are boundaries on what we can do. I don't believe there are obstacles that we can't overcome. When I went to Discover Card, I was scared because I left about a 15-year career at a company that was really stable. And you took a chance. If you didn't make money in 3 to 5 years, they said, we'll shut you down. Don't come back. You have to take a risk to get a reward. That's just how it works. And all of you have taken that step. And I'm so glad to be there with you, taking that step by step by step, because there's no other way for you to get the kind of rewards that I think all of you are looking for. So what questions, Ranjeet, do you think we have that people would like to ask?
Yeah, everyone feel free to unmute if you want to ask a question. We have Kathy here. Like, this is just incredible to have this wisdom here with us. And so feel free to unmute and ask, or feel free to ask in the chat. And we're happy to ask on your behalf. Some of the questions, I think, Kathy, is like a lot of it for them probably they may not truly understand it right now and how it works. And I think for me personally, when I got to know about Switch about 6 months ago, I never fully understood about non-custodian and custodian wallets. And I would love you to explain that, because that was such a vital ching that I got to understand, because there's decentralized and there's decentralized, I kind of say. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's really a great question. And when you're on your Connect platform and looking at the different videos that is out there, there's a video there that talks about the custodial versus a non-custodial wallet that will do a much better job than I could ever do. It really showcases the two divisions of how you can put your crypto into a non-custodial wallet. And when you put it into that non-custodial wallet, and all of you have gone to the Switch website, I think, and opened up a Switch wallet, I believe. When you put crypto or your assets into that non-custodial wallet, guess who knows about it? Not me, not Skippy, you. You know what's in there. I have no access. What was wrong with Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX? He had access to his clients, both sides, and he had access to their funds. When you move something, and we never suggest that you move more than what you need. If you're going to move something to your custodial wallet, that's where we have other custodians involved to help you move it to your card, to help you spend on your card, to do a wire or something of that sort. That requires, more than one person, maybe the bank, maybe a processor, various people are involved. Okay, so that is the custodian there on that side. So on the non-custodial wallet, I don't know what's in there. You have to keep that private and secure. That is your responsibility. And the custodial and the custodial side, there are other parties that can see what you put in there. So we never suggest that you put in, if you don't need $100,000 in there, don't put $100,000 in there. Just move it in time for the transaction that you're thinking of doing. Move it in time for you to put it on to your card if you want to put it on your card. move it in time for you to do a wire or an ACH or something of that sort. So that's the difference in those two wallets. So you have custodial and non-custodial, and you are the master of that non-custodial wallet. Does that help?
Yeah, definitely. I even got more insight to it. And
Yeah, the
I
other
think
thing is that with our the way our company is set up versus the way that the switch token is set up is two different divisions too. There's a very, very compliant process for that, which also means I have no way to go over and grab something I want out of the token batch and put it in my wallet. I can't do it. There's no way. Once that token launched, now it did launch from the company, but once it launched, it's the community. The company owns 0 switch tokens. The company sells no tokens. Now, other people can sell them, but really there's no way for me, as big as my hair might be, I'm never going to be able to do what Sam Bankman-Fried did. Never. Can't do it. Doesn't exist.
Oh, another question I've got with that is that remember in the early days, I was given this vision, like so when you have all the BAM projects, you have all your tokens in your Connect wallet, that we have a switch card. And seamlessly you can just go out, go to the cafe, have your coffee, and the system will just seamlessly those tokens and do that. To me, Kathy, that is just phenomenal, like how that works and how that's going to be. And is that true?
Not as seamless as you described. And now MasterCard is saying they're coming out with one that will work like that with your Bitcoin. I'm not sure who's going to spend part of their Bitcoin on coffee, but when you are using the card, and let me say this, with our new partner vault, we think we're about 45, maybe 60 days out of those cards for the globe being available. And so if you're planning on holding a card, this is the time to go in and take a look at that NFT for the card itself, because at $250, it's going to come out at, I think, about $695 as far as the cost. So if you're considering a card, this is the time to go in. It's a pre-sale because it's not quite ready. But when you have moved something from your non-custodial wallet to your custodial wallet, in between there, you will have to change it into fiat. Right now, we don't have a bank that actually touches the crypto and does it for you. And MasterCard has just announced this last week that they have something specifically for Bitcoin that will happen that way. Nobody's figured out exactly how they're going to make it happen that way. And there's a lot of chatter about it. So it's not quite that seamless, but if you know you need to move over $5,000 to pay this month's bills, and you move that through from whatever token it is that you're moving, you're going to move that through, trade it into fiat, and then it will be on your card as fiat. And I did it so simply in the Netherlands. I just got my card and got on the plane. Somebody loaded it for me. You can load it with cash. You can load it with that's already cash out of your bank account, or you can trade one of your cryptos into cash. And then all I did was go to the bar and tap it. Now, I always tell everybody I had a glass of milk, but I'm allergic to milk, but I did buy the other guy some drinks, and it worked beautifully. And this case, it was a Visa. On the gray areas, those are the areas where the card cannot be issued. And then Australia, yes, the card will be issued. What I'll do after this or on Monday is I'll pull up the entire list for Australia, because it told me specifics, but I don't have it all memorized. And we'll get that out to everyone so you'll know exactly what kinds of transactions you can do in Australia. It is very reasonable. If you look at some of the ones that have these features with crypto, they're asking you to stake their token, and it could be, oh, Scott, do you remember? Was it 40,000 was one of them?
Yeah, so
$40,000 worth?
the equivalent card we're looking at is like the crypto.com, like whatever platinum or whatever. And the current equivalent for like some of the features and benefits of this card is staking like $40,000 worth of the crypto.com token. So they're making you buy their token and then basically give it back to them and not earn anything from it, just for the ability to get the card.
Yeah.
Yes.
So and then if you compare it to non-crypto cards, you know, I just Delta tried to upsell me just recently, and they said, "Oh yeah, it looks like you spend $4,000 a month, you'll get X number of rewards." And I like my Delta rewards, but it was going to be 650, so I stuck with mine 250 because I still get rewards. But I'm like, well, I'm not sure I want to do that. I think I see another question out there about the Boost NFT. And you don't want to buy the Boost NFT unless you do have a switch node, because that's what you're boosting. You're boosting your everyday number of rewards when you purchase that. Now, I was so excited when I saw it, I bought one anyway. They are my rewards. They are my tokens, but I did buy one. And and for each one of the nodes that you have, if you want to boost it for the next 6 months, you would get double the number of rewards. But you do need to have a switch node in order to have one. Now, I'll let you in on a couple of pieces of information to watch out for. Listen up if Brad gets on your radar, or if he's on the Connect, listen up. He's trying to come up with ways to broaden that for people, because we know 9,150 is a lot of money. But everybody that signed up today, everybody, do we have that form out there to Ranjeet?
Yeah, I've got it. I've sent it.
Okay.
Yeah, they got it.
You already sent it?
Yeah, I sent it about an hour before we got on the call. So
Okay, all right. So you're all going to get a light node, and a light node, different from a smart node. If you don't have a switch node and haven't been able to watch how that works, that light node is going to produce, it may help you in understanding, if you don't understand, how those tokens drop in to your wallet. So be sure that you got all your information to Ranjeet, because she went out there and said, okay, I need to get these for my people. It doesn't happen automatically. She went out and said, I want everybody to have one of those light nodes. If you give Ranjeet a name or email of your family or your friends, and they have opened up their wallet, their Switch wallet, I will give them a light node also. So I think if you can get that in by Monday, is that right, Scott? Okay. And heaven knows 48 hours is the same for all of us at the end. Which day it is a little different for everybody. So he's put 48 hours on there. I would hope you're all here, but if you have a spouse, a brother, a sister, a non-believer, somebody you've been talking to, and you've got their information and you want to get them a Switch light node, get that information to Ranjeet and we'll get them a Switch light node also.
Teach you about nodes, like you're going through the experiencing and putting it on and putting it online and all those things. It's just magic.
Yep. And we've got about 200 of those left in this iteration. I don't know if the price will go up after this, in between now and when we launch it at $695. But this is a good opportunity to have that and be on the list of the first to get it. And again, in the past, we haven't been able to offer it globally. We were only offering the card in the USA market. And now we're able, with this new addition of Vault to offer it in a global fashion, based on that map that Skippy was showing you earlier. The card is an annual fee. One of the things that we are working on right now is to make sure that we can get to the point that you may use your Switch tokens to pay that annual fee. So as much as we can, we are trying to get the utility of Switch into all of our products plus other products. So by the time your annual fee comes up, I would think we'll have that all solved, and you could pay your annual fee with the Switch token.
Yeah.
There are other ways to not pay the annual fee. And if you look on our, that's in the charter, isn't it? Or I don't think it's in the light paper, Scott. There are other ways. I don't have them 100% memorized, but if you spend, there's a number that you can spend. I think it was 20,000 in a year. Then that would waive your annual fee. The other thing to know about the card is these are all, actionable things inside of using the card that gets you more Switch. So let's say you do not even know anything about crypto, and you're scared, but you get the card. It will still, based on certain things that you do, you will earn Switch. So a direct deposit, if you have a job and you want something, or like me, you have a Social Security check or something else, those will get you a reward of Switch. So we built everything on the thought that your reward is going to be in Switch. So you could have people sign up for the card, have no experience with crypto, have no knowledge of crypto, and they earn crypto.
Amazing. I know John McAboney had a question here, and it's a question I get quite often, Kathy, is about businesses coming to Switch or point of sale, like for cafes, restaurants, retail. How would a business get in touch with Switch if they wanted to utilize Switch?
Great question. Hey, Scott, can you go back to that main page and pull up the business section? We signed up one of the Connect reps this week for a business account. So if you look there, you see markets, rewards, individual accounts, business accounts. Let's click on that. And then it will take you to a place and it will ask you for your information. And it will say, here, let's set up a schedule to get a business account. Now, I haven't announced this yet, but I told Brad last week, I said, if any of the Connect reps want a business account, you want a business account, I normally charge $1,000 to set that up because it's not free for us to do it. By the time we do the KYC and we have a person who works on it, and the person that you'll be meeting with is Emma Raleigh. She's a bright student at BYU, very adept at what she does. And she will get your business signed up so you will have the advantages of having a business account with Switch. And the merchant widget is about, I would say, I met with Mark yesterday, I would say we're about 95% done with that. So it depends on what your business is. We want to make sure that you're signing up for something that makes sense for you. But if you want a business account and you're a Connect rep, I'm going to waive that $1,000 entry price. You're the first people to hear that other than Brad and the one person who signed up this last week. So some of you, that person had an AI business and has other transaction, has clients that she knows will want to use the crypto to make payments. Now, the other advantage on our business accounts is dependent on how you want to move through the world. If you want to keep the crypto that you accept in your business account, you can keep that in your treasury. But on the back end, if you want us to change it to fiat the same day it comes in, we can do that for you too. Each one of the different transactions, there'll be a fee for whatever it is that you're doing. but that entry fee is waived for you throughout the month of September if you have the need for a business account, all the Connect reps. And again, I haven't told the other soul. I just told Brad last week. I said, let's waive that fee if anybody wants a business account. That's a Connect.
Amazing. And I'm
And
going to I'm going to ask one more question, because I know a lot of people run foundations or charity and things like that. Can Connect support that as well?
we can.
Yeah.
In fact, that group that I was talking about, Who Lives, they are taking crypto right now, and they want to dump their current provider so they can move over to Switch. The one that's a little tricky is if it is a political campaign, because that isn't always set up as a company. And we have been asked by various political campaigns to help them accept crypto also. That one's a little tougher because the KYC or the KYB for business is dependent on there being a business there. And sometimes that's a political active group or something of that sort. So that has been a little harder for us. But let's say you have a foundation or you have a charitable kind of organization. Everybody wants to take crypto now. Why not? Why wouldn't you if you're a charitable organization? And then we can help you on the back end to turn that into the kind of fiat you want. Scott, can you go? I don't know if we can see on here the number of fiats. I can't remember where that is, to tell you the truth.
So I was on Switch Pay. So again, this is kind of the business side services of Switch. So one thing I've told people to do is an on ramp, off ramp is something that Switch has that's very cool. So it's basically just a way to get fiat to crypto and then crypto back to fiat. So you can use this, and all these are different types of fiat that you can use as onboarding onto crypto or off ramping of crypto through Switch Pay. So I know a lot in Discord, we've been doing a lot of like the buy Switch promos and that kind of stuff. And a lot of people are like, well, how do I get ETH? How do I get into crypto as an on-ramp? And this widget that Switch Pay did is one of the easiest to do it. So this is just another form of that. But then with this isn't the exact list, but I think Kathy, you may know better than me, but as far as like all the different currencies that are available.
Yeah, and that's a pretty decent list. So again, when you look at that map, it will gray out those currencies where we can't. And that's based on the OFAC list, the Treasury and what they'll allow us to do business with. So you won't find North Korea on there. You won't find Russia on there. We're prohibited there. As I don't think people understood either, is people would say, well, do I need my Coinbase account? Do I need my all these other accounts? And I encourage you, if you haven't taken a tour of Switch Reward Card on each one of those categories, take that tour, because guess what? I'm faster. The last couple people we've talked to about their Coinbase account and I do some of the tests myself. The last test I did was a comparable with MoonPay. And all I wanted to do, and I've had a MoonPay account for a long time, because when we started, I took all the accounts just to compare. I was going to buy $200 worth of Bitcoin. Somebody tell me how much time that took me. Any guess?
Oh, could have taken you probably 2 days or something like that, Kathy.
Yeah, they were really fast that day. It took 18 hours.
Oh,
It would take us, if you're already through your KYC, you're already through everything, it would take us no more than a few minutes, maybe 7 at the most. We have a video out there where we're doing several different transactions, and I think it takes 7 minutes. And then if you look at the cost of the fees associated with the trades, etc., we are also beating everybody there. What we haven't done is I have to do a better job of getting the word out about Switch, because we are faster. And then if I didn't understand what I was doing, which every once in a while that's the case, right, Scott? If I didn't know how to do it, every morning when we started, I would go on this poor website and I'd beat some dev up and say, it doesn't do this, or it doesn't do that, or this or that, or I don't understand this. The letters aren't big enough because I can't see. So a lot of it became down to do it. If she can do it, anybody can do it. Well, one of the things that we do have, and we don't talk about this as much as we probably should, if there was an award for the best customer service in crypto, and maybe I need to create it, guess who would get it? We would. Our ecosystem has exceptional opportunity for somebody who doesn't, we want to encourage people to learn. We want to encourage people to read. We want people to read the FAQs and the instructions. But if you just can't get it done, we do have a way for you to get a ticket out there on Zendesk. If it gets to you a need of an escalation and you need to talk to somebody, or Zoom or something like that. So all of those things exist. And I don't know anywhere in crypto. Is that Jake?
Yeah,
Jake?
I was just
Hey,
browsing
Jake.
the web for random Zoom
Oh,
links, and I found
bless
this
you,
one. So I
Jake.
hopped on.
I don't know anywhere in the crypto where you can get customer service. Now, the reason I know that is because I would go out and it'd say send a ticket or something, and then I'd never hear from anybody. And we are really upfront about everything. We're telling you the card is a future thing. We know it's going to be out there in the future. You're buying it today, but it's a future thing. I bought some of those cards. It took 2 years for me to get them. I'm like, by the time I got the card, I'm like, oh yeah, I did apply for that. It was a year ago or 2 years ago. So when you're talking about the opportunity for a well-rounded, kind of a way to participate, switches it. We're just heads above everything else that I've seen. And I don't say that lightly because I'm here. I say that because of my experience out there. So.
Hey, Jake.
And we're so honored to have Jake here.
Yeah, Jake,
He
you have
might
to
get some
speak.
questions. He's the man.
Jake, please introduce yourself. What a blessing for you to be on. Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, how are y'all doing? I mean, I don't think that I should ever be more exciting than Kathy Roberts, but I'm honored.
So Jake had been messaging me. We were in the chat, and I was like, "Come say hey." And he's like, "Well, they don't want me in there." I was like, "Man, you'd be like Brad Pitt walking into a restaurant." And he said more like Big Bird stumbling into a boardroom. And I was like, "Come say hey."
We all love Jake. He has so much knowledge in that noggin and so much experience. And to some degree, experiencing things is really important. And that's a lot how I learn. Now, I also read everything every day, about what's going on in the markets, about what is going on with the government, about who they're approaching, everything, because I'm like, okay. And I'm not ashamed to ask a question. I'm not, there's no stupid questions, but I do read everything every day and try to keep up with what's going in the market because it is such a complex and diverse place to be. So, Jake, do you have a minute to say how you keep up with everything? Because you know everything. I have a thought process. I worked for a woman at Discover Card that was one of their first VPs, and we were all day long, from 6 o'clock in the morning till 9 o'clock at night, you're with all these guys. And she said to me one day, she said, I have been with these guys all day long, and at dinner, they all know all the sports information. They know everything that happened today. She said, I think it comes in through their fillings and their teeth because there's no way they've had time to check it out. So Jake, how do you know everything? Does it come through the fillings in your teeth?
No, I wish it was that easy. I really don't know. I think it's just something whenever you become passionate about it, it just becomes easy to retain it. And it's also motivating to actually go out there and learn it, It may be something that I just read once in an article and pick it up, but it's just when it's something as fascinating as blockchain and something as, big and involving as something like this, I don't know, it just comes easy. I really haven't had anything other in my life that has been as interesting or as, I mean, hard and easy is kind of subjective because it is hard to do these things. But to me, it, like, when you look back, it's like one of those things that it was easy to hike up that mountain, so I don't know. I would just say stick with it.
He's got super intellect, and Scotty has on his hat backwards, but he knows everything too. And so, oftentimes I'm on some of these podcasts. He put me on a podcast with 50,000 people. I don't know what they're going to ask. I don't know what the topics are going to be. And he's sitting in the back room waiting for me to send him a text and said, what does that mean? Most of the time, the topics are such that I do know what they're talking about. But I suggest you dive in, learn it is fascinating for me, and for me at least. So did we get all the questions?
Yeah. I think we have. I mean, please feel free to unmute, but just I hope Jen can share her experience, but I'll just quickly share my personal experience for 6 months. It's over 100K. If I count the assets, the rewards, what's happened, that's what I've generated in 6 months' time. And the Friends Commission is a side thing. It's one of the aspects, but it certainly has helped me where I've gone in and able to re-go and purchase more nodes, do all those sorts of things. There's one thing that I really loved about this journey is when I got to meet Billy Womack. It was I got goosebumps. I remember I watched this video and I couldn't understand what rewards were and how they were generated and what these action points meant and all this sort of stuff. And I watched this video and it was like at late at night and I had to watch it over and over again until it sunk into my being to really understand how these rewards are generated out of thin air and how it comes into tokens and how it actually goes into a cryptocurrency. And there you go, you got it on Switch Reward. And how that whole ecosystem works. Like that was like the bomb for me to understand that actual foundation, the core foundation, how decentralized system works. Because I've heard the term, I've heard blockchain, didn't know what a node was, didn't know any of those things. This is 6 months ago, Kathy. I didn't know. And then all of a sudden I'm sitting here with all these beautiful souls and we're teaching and educating them to make this an impact, as a positive impact on the planet. And we get to meet people like Jake and Skippy and these gems that are in the world. And here they are teaching us for no cost, no nothing, just generosity out of their heart, which is how it's supposed to be. And this is how money information was supposed to be. It wasn't supposed to be the other way. And, the transaction. So for me personally, I got it very quickly. Once I watched Billy so many times, I love that man. Can you tell him I love him? Because
I will tell him that he knows. Yeah. He knows we love him.
Yeah, because he's so generous with his information. He was completely transparent. He's open. He tries to stay very compliant and he does a very good job. And I just like listened to him and I went, I get this now. I understand. And because I know it, and Jen knows it as well. And a lot of people here know it now. You can't help but not share. It's like you have a duty to help people because it's the flip. It's the flip. And I am so grateful and everyone here, I know I speak in their behalf. We are so grateful for all of you. Jake, you are such a gem. Skippy, you are just like 24/7. You go on Discord, they're there. I messaged Jake the other day and he answered me straight away. And so did Skippy. And like I go, who are you people? Like not many people do that. Because they're so passionate about it. This is so goosebumpy, Kathy. Even you offering to come speak to our group and everything. I'm so grateful for you. Thank you so much for coming out of retirement and doing this. I'm sorry, I'm very passionate.
It's been a great stretch for me to be here and learn this, but it's just so rewarding. I think Linda has a question.
Yes,
right?
Thank you. Is it Ranjeet?
Yeah.
Yes. Could you share with us where you watch those videos, or is there something you could put in the chat, a link? I'm fairly new to this whole thing, so I'd love
Oh,
to get up to speed with what you just
yeah.
said.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know
Thank you.
which group. Yeah, I don't know which group you're on, but there's one place I now send everyone first. It's brand new and it's called Jump on Billy, because you'll get to know Billy, you'll get to know Jake, and it will really, for me, when I've sent new people there now, and it just helps them to understand how the rewards work, because it took me a bit of time. I'd go there, and from there I would go to Instagram and have a look at Billy Womack, and you can friend him on, follow him on Instagram. And then the other place I would go to is all their socials, because you'll start to pick up and just like them, comment on them, and engage in them. And there's plenty of YouTube videos, and I can definitely send you the links. It'd be a pleasure to do that. So if you're in whatever, who's ever introduced you here, get them to reach out, and I'll definitely send it to you. You can reach out to me directly, and I'll send it to
Connect
you.
does have an academy. So when I
I've
started,
been through, yeah, I've
on-
been through the whole academy. I've
Okay,
done all
good.
that.
All right. And then if you go on the one, there's a lot of Switch on YouTube. So if you type in Switch YouTube, you know, I was showing somebody the other day, all I did was type in Switch YouTube and I put in the one that was cell tower comparisons. And it came right up. There's so much out there about our brand, whether it's YouTube, Instagram, and of course, people sharing on the Discord. It's in a lot of opportunities for you to see all of these videos and tutorials out there.
Thank you.
So I posted in the chat. If you can pull up the chat of the Zoom, I've dropped a few links. I'll drop them again. But the jumponwithbilly.com, that's a Thursday night call that Jake and Billy and myself have been hosting. And I think we were like 8 or 9 weeks in, and we record them and then post them back to that website so you can like rewatch them. And like Kathy said, Kathy and Brad, they're building products and services, and they've launched the blockchain, and now the blockchain is ours. And as a community, it's up to us with the blockchain to promote the blockchain, grow the blockchain, and that's what we're doing here right now. And that's what we do on Thursday nights. And on Thursday nights, we dive in a little more the more technical stuff and helping each other. Jake's a great resource, and if you're not in Discord, Discord is not the most easy to use social media platform, and I get that. I'm not I don't use it other than for this. If I was not a fan of it before, but what's cool about it, in my opinion, is like Facebook, Instagram, they're all platforms for a company to talk at you. Like Facebook, a Facebook post, a company is going to tell you what they want you to see, where Discord is the community talking to each other. So go into the Connect Discord, go into the Switch Discord, find Skippy T or JAD, and ask us questions. Send us a private message. Say, hey, I don't understand this, and we can either help you or send you the YouTube to that, and help you with that. Especially in the Thursday night calls, like this past Thursday night, we basically just unmuted everybody and we're like, who has a question? And a guy shared his screen, and Jake walked him step through something that wasn't even a Connect platform, trying to help people and just, as a community, helping other community members.
Thank you, Skippy. Thank you.
And also another thing, Switch even made some videos teaching you Discord. Switch, Rix, if you're familiar with Rix in Discord, so it's just Kristen Rix. She made a video of like tutorial videos on like what is Discord, how to use Discord. I'll drop those in the chat. I'll find the link and drop those here in the chat in a second.
Oh, thanks, Skippy. That's awesome. Did that answer your question, Linda? Did that help?
Yes, perfect. Thank you so much.
Oh, it's awesome. Anybody else, please feel free while we've got these gem of people here.
One of the differences you might know is that some reward systems or tokens are what they call initial coin offerings. And that is almost the same as an IPO or an initial stock offering. We're not. The node produces the digital reward. And the reason that a lot of people that have worked in this space before or purchased these before is they've seen a lot of different projects. And so when you look at the project, or an NFT, we're none of us are artists. We're not drawing the monkey with the cigars or anything of that sort to sell. But every project that we have is a real project to solve a problem. So at Switch, we're trying to resolve the fact that traditional banking excludes people versus including them. We're trying to solve the problem that it could be 24 hours a day or a government interference. At Element, they are dedicated to getting people to mine responsibly if they're going to take their gold or turquoise or whatever out of the ground. And he's gotten agreements with a lot of these gold mines not to use children or not even take it out of the ground. The Galvin project is to make all of us take our health back into our own hands. And the Grow project is encouraging us to know where our food is coming from, give some power back to the farmers who grow the food. So each one of these, we call it, it's blockchain, but it's with a purpose. Every one of these has a purpose. And it's everybody wants to make money, right? Everybody wants to participate in these systems, but we're not just a pump and dump. We're not just here's a flash in the pan and will you buy my 3-year-old's painting? Each one of these projects is got a lot of dev and IT work behind it, and that's the expense of the nodes. So we're a little different and organized in a little different way than some of the other projects out there.
Yeah, and I guess if I could chime in, if you wouldn't mind, just something talking about like Bitcoin or Ethereum early on. I'm not sure if you're familiar with those, but that's something, those are projects that I still go out and share. Like I still talk to people about, but I'm not incentivized other than, I'm a holder of Bitcoin and Ethereum. And you want to get this network effect of the more people that know about and utilize something, that the more that thing actually provides value to the world. And then in turn, like if you hold that asset, of course, it can increase in value. But those I'm not incentivized to share other than that. With Connect, there's actually algorithms in place that you earn through the blockchain. You're incentivized to go share these through forms of commissions and everything else. So that's like one of the main aspects that Jen had probably done a lot of her earnings on, was just being incentivized to go share and expand these projects to the world and help go market them. Gallo was one of the initial projects that the Connect community, some of the original members actually took to the world and initially launched that project. And I was a part of that. And I did fairly well. I was up about 8 figures at one point, just between what I've received from commissions early on, and I hodled those assets, and then also what my node produced. And I'm not guaranteeing or saying anything like that, any of these other projects have that same trajectory. They could do nothing, they could do worse, they could even do better. I mean, no one can guarantee those things, but I do know that these are major impact or these are major solutions that are going to make impacts on these industries that need help and need restoration to have a more symbiotic relationship that's gotten bastardized throughout the years with the systems that have been adopted. So that's kind of my 2 cents on it. And a couple like simple ways that you can earn here. But like Jen said, there's multiple resources that you can really, really, really dive into if you want to.
Thank you, everyone, number one, for coming on here. Jen, thank you so much too. And meeting the crew, and Jake slipping on real quickly on the end. My God, it was such a blessing for that. Skippy T, you stayed on all the way. Thank you so much for that. Everyone around the world, you are absolutely tremendous to carve out some time and come here for yourself, and also for the people that you love and care about. And if it's gone over your head, let it be. It's all good. It's just a process. It's a new world, new paradigm, and it's very, very exciting, and it's moving fast. Miss Kathy Roberts, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. I can't even put words around it. I hope you can feel the energy of it. Have a
I do.
lovely evening.
Thank
Bless
you all.
See you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Before you can use any type of cryptocurrency, you need to set up a digital wallet. There are two kinds, custodial and non-custodial. So what's the difference between the two? And why should I care? Let's find out. According to Binance Research, hackers have stolen almost $3.5 billion from custodial wallets since 2012. $3.5 billion. If those victims had chosen a non-custodial wallet, they would have still had those funds today. So this is important stuff. To explain the real differences between these two types of wallets, you first need to understand that access to either one is only possible using a set of unique private keys. These keys identify you, and you alone. It's a combination of a master password and a series of randomly generated words called a seed phrase that you can use to reset your password if you forget it. When you set up a non-custodial wallet, you are given all this information. You're instructed to write it down on paper and store at least 2 copies in 2 separate places. Never store this information on a computer or on a phone where it can be hacked. Using your private keys, you have unrestricted access to your digital wallet anytime without ever needing permission or support from a third party, because you and only you hold your keys. Non-custodial literally means no other person has custody over your private keys. The downside is, if you were ever to lose your keys, you lose your crypto forever. On the other hand, when you set up a custodial wallet, you do so through a third party, such as Coinbase, Binance, or crypto.com. Your private keys are still generated, but they're held in custody by a third party. You'll never see your keys or know what they are. They're hidden, held by the third party who acts as the custodian of your keys. These platforms will give you a username and password to access their website, which you can use to access your wallet. But that's very different than you holding your own private keys. On the positive side, if you ever lose your username and password, you can ask customer service and they can reset it for you. The bad news is, if the site goes down, the company gets hacked, or in extreme cases, the company goes bust. Like in the case of FTX, your keys go with them and you could stand to lose everything, just like that $3.5 billion I mentioned earlier. There's a saying in the world of crypto, not your keys, not your crypto. And there's wisdom in that. If you don't control your keys, your assets are always at the mercy of a centralized third-party institution. Which is why here at Switch, we give you the ultimate freedom and control over your digital assets by giving you both a custodial and non-custodial wallet. With Switch, you can easily manage both wallets in one single, simple-to-use platform. You could store your long-term crypto inside the security of your non-custodial wallet, where you will have full control over your private keys. Then when you're ready to make a purchase, you can simply transfer your desired amount to your custodial wallet using the Switch app and instantly convert crypto to fiat. Then spend that money anywhere debit cards are accepted with the Switch Rewards debit card, making it simple to access and spend your funds virtually anywhere. Safe, simple, and super convenient. So make the switch to Switch and experience the best of both worlds.